Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Creatnprocess. In today's video, we'll look at how you can create pixel stretch effect in Photoshop. We'll be using image and select a pixel from it and create out this cool pixel stretch effect in Photoshop. There are three ways to create this design. The first thing we're gonna do is to look at how you can create a linear stretch effect in Photoshop. The second design will be using the circular stretching effect. We'll be creating this nice circular design using the polar coordinates option. And the third and last design we'll be working on will be dynamic design, where we'll be using the wrap option to create out this nice dynamic effect. So let's begin with the designing process. So let's open the image where you want to apply this effect. So I got these images. Let's choose an image. I'll choose this image and let's open it in Photoshop. So open this in Photoshop and here is our image. So the first thing we're going to do is to remove the background. So to remove the background, let's make a selection. So select the selection tool and over here just click on select subject and it will automatically select our subject like this. But as you can see, there are some selection which has been missed out. So to make it correction, either you can use the brush tool, selection brush tool, just click on Q and with the brush tool you can just paint it out like this and it will make a selection where there is empty space. Or what you can do is you can use the pen tool and just trace out the outline like this. So I'll use the pen tool for now and let's just make a outline using pen tool. Just click and drag, and this is the one of the way to make a selection. There are various other ways to do that. Whichever way you feel like is handy to you, you can use that. Using the brush paint option, you can do that very easily. But with a pen tool, I feel like this will also give you some freedom of selection in details like this. You can just zoom it in and exactly follow the path of the image and you can make a selection nicely with a perfect outline. So I'll just complete this selection. So just draw out space like this and click make selection. And it's asking whether you want to make a new selection or add it to the selection or subtract it from the selection. So let's see, over here I want to subtract it from the selection. So I'll just select subtract from selection and click OK, and it will subtract out that region. But there are some portion which is needed to be selected. So for this, let's use that brush tool. So press Q to open the selection mask, and with the brush tool selected, I'll just paint it over here like this. All the empty spaces with a brush. Here in between the hands we need some masking, so I'll just draw that, apply mask over here. You can erase out where you don't want the masking, so use the eraser tool with a full opacity and just erase out that region like this. So apply brush to all the region where you feel like it's not masked properly. So just go in there and apply the masking here as well. As you can see some portion. So and after this, for the hair region, we'll follow some other step to make the selection. So press Q to go out, and here's our selection, proper selection. For the proper selection of the hair, we'll click the selection tool, go to select and mask, and over here using this tool, the second tool, just paint it over here and it will automatically remove the background from the hair, just like that. Very simple like this. And after that, click OK, and if you apply mask, you see that everything has been masked out properly. And over here also the masking of the hair has been done very precisely. You can click on the thumbnail with the alt pressed and you can do further adjustments, like if you want to add some white patch. So I'll just use dodge tool and you can just increase the highlighted region, or you can use the dodge burn tool to remove the faded white region. So that way you get a perfect outline, very sharp outline like that. And once you're happy with this selection, just click on the thumbnail with the alt pressed and you're out. And now the next thing we're gonna do is to create out this design, this cool design. And to create that design, let's open a new Photoshop document. So I'll open a new Photoshop document and with the dimension 1000 by 1000 pixel and create. And here is our new document. Let's import that selected image. So let's click and drag and drop it to our new document. And the first step we're gonna do is to convert this into smart object. So right click and convert this into smart object so that we can maintain that image quality. And I'll just reduce the size a little bit. So just click and drag and a little bit of scale size. Now the next thing we're going to do is to select the pixel. So it's very simple. The selection process is very simple. So I'll be using the marker tool. So over here, if you go in here, you see that single column marker tool is there and single row marker tool. So if you want to make a horizontal selection, you can use this single row marker tool. Right now I want the vertical selection, so I'll just select this single column marker tool and just make a selection anywhere. So just check out which region gives you some more details. So I think around here, I think this over here, you get some more details. So I'll just make a selection, and with the command or control C pressed, copy the selection and add a new layer just above the background layer and paste it. Command or control V, and here's the pixel selected. Now I'll just hide out this main layer and we'll stretch this pixel. So command control T, and with a shift press just stretch it to the right and to the left and click enter, and here is our pixel stretch image. I'll convert this into smart object so that we can get that detail nicely, even if we distort it or do some modification with the size. So I'll just open that image and let's place this stretch layer in an angle. So with the command control T, just rotate it into a 45-degree angle with the shift pressed and just place it around here. I'll just place this end at the here and this one adjacent to the tip of the shoe. So with the shift press, just make sure they are properly aligned like this and enter. I'll select both and let's reduce the size a little bit. I'll just reduce the size around like this and place it around here. And what I'll do is I'll just stretch this stretch layer. So control T, and with the shift press, click and drag and stretch it out like this. And we'll do some dynamic effect to this, like giving some perspective, and for that right click and click distort and just click and distort the pixel like this. Just make it a little broader from the both ends and press enter. And over here we need to do some adjustments. I'll just use the distort option again and just make sure they are properly aligned with the hair and the tip of the shoe on both sides like this. And now to mask out this extra region, I'll use the pen tool and just draw out some outline from the middle portion of the character and just fill this up with the like this and make selection. Click OK and just apply mask to this. So click and apply the mask. And now to reverse the masking, with the command or control press I and it will reverse the selection. So here it is, our image with the stretch in the background is here. So now if we check out with our previous design, original design, we need to do some little adjustment with the size. So I'll just reduce the size a little bit more and just make it a little bit like this and place it somewhere around here. And now the next thing we're going to do is to apply the color. So I'll just group this up, command control G, group it up, both the layer, and let's apply a gradient. So let's go here and click on gradient, and I'll just apply clipping mask to this layer and just go in there, change the color gradient like this, and let's change the blend mode to color, and this will apply to there. I'll just do some adjustment with the angle and let's choose this color. Okay, and just play around with the color like that, a little bit of faded like that, and click OK. And after that, for the background, I'll just double click on it to unlock it, and let's apply color overlay and choose a color somewhere around like here and a little bit of light brown like that, and click OK. So our background is added, and if you check out with our original image, here is our original design and here is our latest design. You can just anytime go in there and just play around with this color and reduce the fill value around 70, and here it is. And now let's add a text. So lastly, I'll just select both these texts and just drag and drop it to our design, new design, and just scale down the size a little bit and place it around here, somewhere around here, and enter. And our first design is ready. It's the linear stretching effect using the store option. Now we'll look at how you can create the circular pixel stretch effect. So to create this effect, let's open the image. So I'll open the image. So here's our image, right click, open it in Photoshop. And here's our image. The first step we're gonna do is to remove the background. So I'll use the selection tool, select subject. I'll follow the same process which we have done earlier. So just make a selection of the subject, and after that we'll do the refinement. So refinement process includes lots of stuff. So you can go with this using the pen tool. You can just remove these extra selection area, or you can use masking option using the brush tool. So let's use that masking option now. So let's press Q, and with the brush tool mask out all these small sections in the image which has been left out. So just using the brush tool, just paint out all these empty spaces, and it will be masked. So over here as well, just go in there and paint it out like this. Just remove all these unwanted pieces from the image. Here as well, just draw it out and mask out this corner. And with the eraser tool, I'll just remove the masking over here. So going inside the corners of the fingers, just to make sure everything is properly masked. And once you're done, I think for the hair region, I'll use the select and mask option. So let's click Q, and here our selection process is done. For the hair, I'll just go to the selection tool and click on select and mask. And with the second brush, I'll just apply it, and it will remove the background color from the hair. So just go along the edges so that it's properly blend with the background, and remove those background color from the hair. And after that, click OK. Now apply mask. So click on the mask, and it will apply a mask to the image. And with the Alt press, click on the thumbnail, and you can do further adjustments. So over here, I'll use the burn tool, like remove those little grayish region, and I'll use the dodge tool, adding more details to the hair like this. And I'll just go around, and I think everything looks fine here. And with the Alt press, click on thumbnail again, and it will see the image. Now what I'll do is we'll follow the same steps. So let's create a new document for this. So file, new document, let's choose 1000 and create, and here's a new document. Let's drag and drop the image to our new document. Click and just drag and drop it to our file, and convert this into smart object, and then scale down the size. Command or Control T, and just scale down the size like this. Place it around here and enter. So here is our image. Now the next step is very important, because if you want to make a selection just like the similar step like this, you see that you are not getting a selection of the full character. Like you're getting some portion of this and leaving this region, or some portion of this. So what we'll do is we'll use the pen tool and just trace out the middle region of the character. So just click, and I'll just go along with this region. Click, and just like that. And after that, make a selection. Click OK, and now selecting this character layer, press Command or Control J, and it will create our section of this image. And it is JPEG, it is a rasterized image. Now the next step we're gonna do is to create a duplicate of this image and shift 1 pixel to the right side. So what I'll do is press Command or Control J by selecting this layer, Command Control J, and it will create one additional duplicate of the layer. And now press the right arrow key, and it will shift 1 pixel to the right. Do the same step for multiple number of times. Command or Control J, and shift it on the right side. J, right. Once you have duplicated this layer for multiple number of times, what we'll do is we'll select all these layers now except our main layer, this, and merge the layers. So merge layers, and it will convert this into single image. And I'll just click with the Alt press, just click and drag and create under duplicate with a shift press. Make sure that they are properly aligned. Do multiple number of duplicate for this. One more duplicate like this, and enter. And I'll select all these layers, bring it to center, and just merge the layers. And if I again go in there and select the single column marker tool, you can select a single line from here. So I'll just click and select a pixel from here. So copy a pixel from here, Command or Control C to copy, and I'll just hide this layer now and add a new layer just above our background layer and just paste it, Command Control V, and here's our pixel. Now if you want to stretch it, use the transform tool, Command or Control T, then with the shift pressed, just click and drag on the right and on the left and enter, and here's our pixel. And we'll be using this pixel stretch image to create this nice circular effect. So let's go in there and let's see. So here's our image. Now the next step is to convert this pixel stretch into circular effect. So selecting the layer, what we'll do is we'll convert this into, first of all, let's convert this into smart object so that we don't lose that details. And after that, go to filter, distort, and polar coordinates, and this will convert this into circular ring like this. If you zoom it out, you can see the effect. Click OK, and here is our design. And now if you want to do some adjustments, you feel like the color should be on the opposite direction like that, you can just go double click on the smart object, go in there, Command Control T, just change the angle like this and save it, file save. And if you come in back to our original design, you see that color has been in the opposite direction. Now I'll just bring in our image, Command Control T, scale size, and just place it up a little bit like that around here. And if you check out our original design over here, you got this cool effect from here going from here over the head. So just scale down size a little bit and around here and place it in the center like that. Press enter. And now let's mask out this unwanted region. So what I'll do is I'll use the pen tool and just click and drag and just do the same over here and just join it and make selection and apply mask. So selecting that layer, apply mask, and with the Command Control I pressed, you can reverse the selection, and that way we have created this cool design. Now we'll do some details. We'll add some details to this design. So to add some details to our image, let's add some details to the design. So first thing we're going to do, so I'll just group this up, Command Control G, and I'll just place this mask to this group, and to this I'll apply some effects. So add a new layer, change the blend mode to multiply, and let's add some shadow. So I will add some shadow in the background. So I'll just map it to this layer, and with the brush tool selected, pick a color from our image. So I'll just pick some this dark color, maybe somewhere around here, and with the brush tool I'll just paint it around here. So select the soft brush tool like this with the size around here, and with the opacity around 3, and just paint it along the back, just making sure that proper depth is added. I've added some depth in the background. You can use the black color. As you go out, I'll just blend it out with a faded color like this. Use the eraser tool to make it balance it out. So I'll use the eraser tool, and next I'll add one more layer, make a clipping and change the blend mode to, let's say, overlay, and we'll add some highlight. So I'll pick some color, bright color with the brush tool, and let's add some highlight around here. I'll just pick some different color brush and just add some highlight to this region, 40%, and like that. And we can do more, so I'll add one more. Let's change the blend mode to color dodge, and let's pick some bright color. So I'll pick some bright color. Let's see this one, and with the brush tool, make a smaller brush, apply it from the center like this, and one around here like this and this. It's adding some glossy effect. I'll just fade out some with the low opacity, just make sure it's properly blend with the surrounding, and you see that glossy effect over here. I have given a little bit of that, but you don't need it if you don't like it. So I'll keep it around low opacity so that we can see slight effect of it like that, and it gives you some cool effect. And after this, I will add some hue and saturation value so that we can reduce the color composition. So I'll add a hue and saturation adjustment layer and just reduce the color value a little bit, color grading. I'll just map it to this and double click on it and just reduce the color grading a little bit so that we can blend it with our image like that. Now for the background color, just double click on the layer and open layer sub panel here. Under color overlay, choose a color. So I'll just go over here and choose some light yellow color like that, And let's create this cool text effect. So to create that effect, what I did is I'll just add a rectangle, this shape, rectangular shape. Just click and draw out a rectangle like this and give a stroke color white and remove this fill color. And for the stroke color, let's increase the thickness like this. And next, let's add some text. So I'll just add a new layer, text, P, and I'll just scale up the size. The font I have used is Avenir Next with the bold font. So P, on Control T, I'll just scale up the size and place it around here. Let's change the text color to white. Okay, and I'll just one more over here. This is for I, we'll place it somewhere around here. X for the center one, E and L pixel. Once you have placed all your text, just distribute it properly, evenly along the rectangle like this. And let's increase the thickness of the rectangle as well. So selecting the rectangle tool, just go to the attributes and increase the thickness a little bit. So I'll just increase the thickness according to the thickness of the text. And now I'll mask out the region. So what I'll do, I'll first mask out these text regions. So selecting this, just click and drag and make a selection around here. And after that, selecting the layer, apply mask and reverse the masking selection. So with the command control pressed, press I and it will inverse the selection. Do the same for E as well. So click and drag and make a selection like this, command backspace to apply the black color. I think we need to increase the selection area. So just extend it a little bit like this and command D. And we'll do one more over here, click and drag and make a selection over here, command backspace. And once you have done this, we'll make sure that these portion is also hidden on the backside. So what I'll do is I'll make a selection of the character, just make a selection with the control press, make a selection of it and apply a mask to it. So command backspace and command control D. And here we go. The text is here, make a selection with the command pressed and mask, apply mask to the E and then reverse the masking. Do the same for the I with the alt press, click and drag and apply it there. And here we go. Both the X is on top, E and L, and everything is on the other places like that. Let's keep it like that way. And after that, we'll bring in our text. This one, stretch effect, and just place it around here like that. Pixel stretch effect. We'll bring in one more text. Place it somewhere around here like that. Now to add drop shadow, let's add a new layer. Change the blend mode to multiply and pick a color, black. And now with the brush tool, with the soft brush selected, reduce the size a little bit and let's draw some color. So I'll just draw some around here, some around here, and just a little bit thin over here, thinness over here, and thin somewhere around like that. Now what I'll do is I'll just go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur and blur it out. So let's increase the blurriness a little bit and click OK. Then command control T and I'll just make it thinner like this. Enter and go to filter again, blur, Gaussian blur and apply blur to this. OK, and just place it just below our character like that, and we'll just reduce the fill value a little bit. And here we go, finally we have created this nice circular stretch effect using very simple steps. Next we'll look at how you can create this dynamic stretch effect in Photoshop using the wrap option. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to check out the next tutorial coming up, and if you want more updates on designing, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel.